Okay, so in this video, we're going to continue with fork and knife inventory, but now we're going to calculate a break even. So just to review real quick, we said that they estimated revenues of $39 a month. We said they had fixed costs of about $400,000, about $100,000 for the software, $300,000 for office and staff for 2 years. Now we kind of made a simplifying assumption here. We time boxed stuff and we said, we're going to look at break even over a 2-year period. And what that lets us do is say that treat office, office rental and utilities and all that. We get to throw all that in a fixed cost bucket. Now, last time I think I had a number under there under marketing, but really because it's a variable cost, it's better to just say, okay, it costs $120 per customer, and that's our variable cost. And where we got that, just as a quick reminder, we had a lifetime value, we estimated of $468, and we said it would cost about $120 to acquire a customer. Now remember, what matters, I expect you all to do the calculations, but really the differentiator is going to be how you calculate or estimate your assumptions. So look at comparisons, run your own tests, all those things we've talked about lots of times. Okay, so now let's go over. Remember, we just said fixed costs are $400,000. And let's calculate our margins. Now, what we do for margins is we take in this case, we're going to take the lifetime value of the customer, how much money we're getting from them, $468. And we're going to subtract the variable costs. In this case, the only variable cost is the cost of acquiring a customer. There's no cost of goods sold, and that's because once I've built out the software, it doesn't really cost me any more for one person, one additional customer to use that software. So again, we've got $468, which is the same as my lifetime value of a customer. We've got $120, which is the same as my cost of acquiring a customer. Now, if you were a restaurant or something, you'd have to say, well, we've got a cost of acquiring a customer, and we've got to include also, to calculate the margin, the cost of goods sold, so whatever the food itself costs. But this is kind of the simplest scenario. The only thing that changes when I make a new sale, the only cost implication is the cost of acquiring that customer. So to calculate the break even, I just say $348, which is the margin, times some number of customers is going to give me $400,000. In other words, that's how many customers I need to get to my fixed cost, which is $400,000 to cover my fixed cost. And if I run that math, I say, oh, I need 1,150 customers. In other words, once I've got 1,150 customers, I'll have made the $400,000 I need to cover my fixed costs. And I've already taken into account the variable cost of marketing. So that is a real quick demonstration of break even. And again, what's hard here is not the math. What's hard here is figuring out whether or not my assumptions are reasonable or coming up with reasonable assumptions. So did I really get the right number on my fixed costs? Have I done the homework? Have I thought of all the things that might contribute? All the things I'm going to have to pay for. Did I appropriately capture my variable costs? Is my lifetime value of a customer, is that a reasonable estimate? And so those are all the things that I want to think about as I'm coming up with my break-even number. And again, to interpret this means I break even, I cover all of my fixed costs once I've made 1,150 sales.